And welcome into episode 74 of the Bama Geeks podcast. Hope you're doing well this evening, this morning, whenever you're listening. We're 24/7 here. What can we say?
Yeah, man.
Like Waffle House.
Oh,
Oh,
but
yes.
not as tasty.
But unlike Walmart now, who refuses to go back to 24 hours.
Can't blame them. Even
I
though
know it.
3 a.m. was the best time to shop.
As long as you
Yeah.
could dodge all of the people of Walmart.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's when you got the best people of Walmart photos was at 3 o'clock in the morning. Anyway.
So, yeah. So I'm Brock Parker, and that's my wife, Jess,
Hello.
Bo Bearden,
Greetings.
and Kevin Gardner.
Hello.
If you are familiar with the Bama Geeks podcast, you're familiar with a format. Toss that out the window. We're changing things up. We've already done our intros and roundtable. We decided to stick that into our Patreon episodes. We spent an hour tonight with our Patreon members, just shooting the breeze on some stuff that we've been up to. So patreon.com/Bama Geeks if you want to be a part of that. Join us on social media at Bama Geeks on Instagram, X, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. That's where you can find us, and darn near 5,000 of you have found our video of The Rock at Legacy Arena.
Thank you.
We appreciate
Yes.
those
Yeah.
views. And Sami Zayn. So we've gotten a lot of YouTube subscribers off that. We appreciate you, and we welcome you to the podcast. If you'd like to interact a little bit more with us and some like-minded folks, then head over to Facebook, where I have not been since New Year's Eve. On Facebook, not the front porch. I've actually been on the front porch since, but regular Facebook. Haven't been on it, but you can join the Bama Geeks front porch on Facebook, and that's where you can hang out with all of us. So, like I said, we're kind of changing up the format. We did our intros and roundtable for our Patreon members, and that's kind of going to be the format going forward. So we're going to jump right into the content. We've got we're going to talk about really quickly Atlanta Comic-Con. We did not cover this in those intros and roundtable, but Jess and I went to go meet Robert Englund. And we wanted to put this on the public episode because Atlanta Comic-Con, y'all got some improving to do.
Very much so.
We drove it's 2.5 hours from our house to the Georgia World Congress Center where Atlanta Comic-Con was being held. And we went over there. So a 5-hour round trip. We go, we spend the money, quite a chunk of money to get in to the con, and only went to go see Robert Englund. And we went over there. Jess, why don't you take it from here?
Yeah, we got there, not too long after the doors had opened.
Right when, actually.
Pretty much, yeah. Got in. I mean, parked fine, got in fine. I mean, the line to get the badges was everything was moving really smoothly. So our game plan was to immediately go to Robert Englund's table and Brock has stated that, we're probably going to be in line because Robert, he loves to take time with his fans. And that's always good to hear, the one person you want to meet, that, that you're going to get that time with them. Excuse me. So we arrived at the table. There was already, you could already see some people in line, and it wasn't, lined up out into the aisles. So we were like, wow, this is great. This is really good. But we arrived and were handed a ticket with a number on it. And we were told that this is a placeholder. This is your place in line. This is a holder. We're seeing people numbers such and such, like was I think 100 through
115.
115.
No, yeah, 100 through 115 was on the sign.
And this was people who just had general admission passes for the con.
Which we did because we had one purpose, and that was Robert Englund.
Yeah. So we were given that, and the girl said, come back in an hour and check and see, come back an hour, check in with us. So that was fine. We went ahead and grabbed something to eat because we've been at Dragon Con before, waiting in line prior and then getting that, getting hungry while waiting in line. So it's like, cool, we'll knock lunch out. No problem. And we did that. And we came back to the table. And we were told, okay, so if you have ticket number such and such, she kept going through counting like 120, like if you have ticket number 120 through 130, 130 through 140, so on and so on. Well, she gets to 190 and then she stops. So she was like, okay, well, if you're under, between 190 and 200, hold on. We got to see if we can get, the line moving and work more people in. And we stood there for a little while and waited and waited. And then we were told, well, I'll tell you what, come back in another hour and see where we're at. So we went and walked around the con a little more.
Not long, though.
Not long. And came back. And this line has not moved.
Not at all.
This line hasn't moved, at least the general admission part of it. There were people who paid money for VIP passes. And of course, you've got your disability considerations take into there too. Those people, they get priority over the general admission people. So we were told once again to go and come back.
Come back at 4:00, she said.
She said,
Robert's going to go eat lunch. They canceled his panel for that day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she asked me, she was like, you're 199. She was like, okay.
You will be the first.
She told me I would be the first one to go up. And they would probably only allow 30 people after that.
Wow.
So we're like, great, we'll continue to be here.
Again, walked the con, and we came back a little earlier than what she had said. Because I mean, we
came
really
back at 2:30.
Yeah, we really didn't have anything really else to do. So we found us a little place to sit down. And I'm looking at this time, the general admission line had gone down some. So I was like, oh, this looks promising. Well, I saw the girl go talk to people in general admission, and all of a sudden, the general admission people were cleared out of the queue.
People who we had been seeing there since that morning, first arrival.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she went to the VIP line and cut off and told people about halfway through the VIP line to get out. You're not going to meet him today.
Yeah. It's not happening today.
So we knew we were sunk. But the thing is, the girl in line, she would tell us, like she said, come back in an hour. We came back. We stood there for quite a while, just waiting because we didn't want to miss being called.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, we're going to take these numbers. And then all of a sudden she changed her story. Okay, we're going to take these numbers. Y'all just, she kept changing her story. She couldn't keep her story straight about what was who was going to get in or whatever else.
Because she did say at first that if you weren't here when I called your number, I'm sorry, but you're out of luck. But then she went back and started calling out
those numbers,
previous numbers. So,
and I understand paying. There were people ducking out of the general admission line, going and upgrading their tickets, which were not cheap. It was like another $100-something to go upgrade to a VIP ticket to come back and get back in line. And some of the people who did that got shut out. So they spent their money for nothing. They let 5 VIPs in for every one general admission. And I understand paying the extra money. But the girl has seen us since the show opened that morning.
Yeah.
And was saying she'd come back with a different story every time. It's like, what's going on? But then after after they kicked everybody out of the line.
There were people, it's like I said, it wouldn't have even like the people that got there like before us, that when the doors opened, that were general admission, didn't even make it up there. There was people that had got there, or just a couple of minutes earlier prior to me and to Brock and I arriving. They still didn't get up there.
Yeah.
Sounds like a cluster.
Oh,
it was terrible.
Yeah.
So, Atlanta Comic-Con, while we have gone to Atlanta Comic-Con in the past and had a wonderful time, one of the best run cons. The problem is they changed ownership.
Yeah.
So you're seeing like FanX signs, and then I think a company called Leap, I think now owns them or something. But I've had read bad reviews on those guys, and now that's bled over into Atlanta Comic-Con, and we'll never go back.
Yeah.
That's
until maybe until maybe they change ownership. So we spent more than $100 just for our Saturday passes. We did a 5-hour round trip and we left empty handed.
Mhm.
Not, and I've shared my story plenty of times before about how much I like, or how I got to spend time with Robert and everything else. I was doing this for Jess, sorry. Jen is Kevin's girlfriend. My apologies. I was doing this for Jess, and yeah, I was disappointed for her. The one shining light in all of this is that my daughter was in Atlanta, just a few blocks away at a conference, and so we decided, once everybody got kicked out of Robert's line, we decided that's it. We're done with this
Yeah.
con. Let's go. So I texted my daughter. I'm like, any chance we can see you? She's like, because initially it was going to be like, can't see you at all today because I'll be so busy. And she's like, actually, we're going on like a 2-hour break. And I said, we're 7 minutes away. We're coming.
Mhm.
She goes, okay, meet me in the hotel lobby. So the bright side is I got to spend time with my daughter.
Yeah. And we got to eat some great food at Ted's Montana Grill.
Woo!
Hey.
If you've never had a bison burger from Ted's Montana Grill, you're
Yeah.
missing.
If you've never had a bison burger,
Yeah.
bison burgers are incredible.
Yeah.
But we also found out that Robert was just doing autographs. He wasn't doing any table photos, which I get it. I understand why. And of course, a lot of people that pay for the VIP passes, they also are the people that bring in crates of stuff for autographs.
Yeah.
For
Mhm.
so we had that. We just had a lot going against us, and
Why do they allow that?
I don't know. I mean, if you're going to commission something, do it through a private signing.
Yeah.
That's what I do. If you're gonna have multiple
Yeah.
things,
Mhm.
then pay for them through a private signing where it's
So we've seen it at several cons. Yeah, people
Oh,
roll
good.
That
up with
shouldn't be
their
a thing. Honestly, I don't want to open a can of worms here. I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure it's been discussed in a lot of different areas, but
Mhm.
just I don't really do cons much anymore.
Mhm.
But just hearing that's a thing, that's
Yeah.
just, it doesn't seem right. I get if they allow it, someone's definitely going to take advantage of it for sure.
Mhm.
Obviously they do. Like, you guys see it all the time.
Mhm.
But it shouldn't be a thing. That shouldn't be allowed. I mean, it's taking advantage of your VIP pass, and the whole deal with the VIP pass should be just to give you better, faster access. It's like a fast pass to get you
Yeah.
faster
Mhm.
access to the star. You're paying to do that, but that doesn't entitle you to stand there and waste the time of two other VIPs or a VIP and a general admission person just because you're selfish and you want to get a whole bunch of stuff signed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We first experienced that in 2019 when we went to Fanboy Expo up in
Mhm.
Knoxville to meet Jody Benson.
Yeah.
That was my birthday present that year from Jess. And some guy had bought a VIP and cut in front of everybody, and he had one of those pull carts
Mhm.
full of pops and pictures and stuff. And we stood there probably for 30 minutes while Jody signed all his stuff.
Yeah.
And even
Wow.
we were close to the table.
can
And
she
even
say
Jody,
no?
well, they paid the money.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so
They
she,
paid the money to have all the stuff autographed?
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
each individual thing. Okay, so help me understand. So they paid the money for the VIP pass to
Mhm.
get in
Yes.
front of everybody,
yes,
but then they walked up and said, "I will pay all the money to get this if you autograph
Yes.
it all."
Mhm.
Like, so in other words, he pays it and then she autograph. So she does have the option to say no, because it's not like it was prepaid, right?
right.
So she can say, "I'll sign two things because I've got a big line."
I remember one of the pops that one of the windows that they presented her to sign. The person wanted the the full version of
Like a big part of a song, like a major part of a song lyric.
one of the lyrics
yeah.
written, and you couldn't even see the pop inside by the time she was done. It was the whole song was
Yeah.
written on the window.
Mhm.
And she even looked at it and she goes, "They want all this?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah." And she's like,
Yeah.
"This is the only one I'm going to do like this."
Mhm.
And yeah,
Well, I mean, it's good. It always makes me wonder how the contracts work with that sort of thing with guests, because as a guest, you should be able to say, "I get you're a super fan.
Mhm.
Give me your 5 most valuable things that you want me to put an autograph on, and I will autograph those. And then you got to move on. I got to get to the next person because otherwise
Yeah.
I'm going to run out of time."
Yeah.
It's I don't
It's
know. I don't
And
know
we
if that's
saw-
a convention policy or what. But
We saw that at Dragon Con with Paul Bettany too. Do you remember that one guy that
Yeah.
was in line too? When
He had
we
a
were,
lot.
He had a lot, and I mean, Paul was getting through. But I think he was just basically just signing his name. He wasn't getting
Yeah.
into a whole lot of quotes or anything like that. So,
But then again, that line for Paul was very short.
yeah, they managed that
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah,
Very well.
the line for Jody, we stood in line for what, 3 hours?
Mhm,
2 or 3
yeah.
hours for Jody, and
Yeah.
part of it was
Well,
people like that.
Well, I know Robert Englund loves to talk, and he loves
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
he loves to engage with folks. And the thing is they should have known that. They should have taken that into account. And any folks that did the VIP that came up with the truckloads of stuff to sign, they should have been like, Robert likes to talk to you, so that's the experience you're going to get. We'll sign 2 things, and then you're out, and then
Yeah.
you're off.
I had almost considered Norman Reedus while we were there, and y'all are going to be shocked, but I walked away from it because he hasn't done a convention in 4 years. Just his autograph price was $150
Ooh.
just for the autograph.
I paid more
Wow.
for people.
Well, yeah,
That's a lot of motorcycle gas.
that's how much the professional photo op cost when we went to Walker Stalker that year. But it strictly look. They even said he's not doing selfies at the table and no meet and greets. So I was like,
Yeah.
you know,
So he's literally just sitting back there signing stuff. That's all
Pretty
he's
much.
doing.
and I heard people
like
say
smiling
that
at you.
basically I heard like comments from people that said that, yeah, you know, he signed, he wasn't personalizing. I mean, he was basically signing. And I
Wow.
get it because that you want to talk about somebody, we've seen his line at Walker Stalker before. But they said, you know, he'd sign, hi, how are you know, just he would greet everybody, hi, you know, hello, fist bump, autograph,
Yeah.
gone. But it was like they were keeping that line moving.
Well, one of the shortest lines was Alec Baldwin. And I took my handbook for the recently deceased because I'm like, I really want to get Alec to sign that, even though
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about him as a person for obvious reasons. But his
Yeah.
autograph was 100 and something
For just the 8x, yeah, for the 8
for
by
just the
10.
8 by 10. If you wanted your handbook signed, $200.
Wow.
If you wanted it personalized,
There was
another $30. If you wanted
Oh, man.
if you wanted him to put like Beetlejuice in it or something,
a quote.
add a 60 to it.
So
So
post-COVID inflation has hit everything now.
Dude,
For
so
up the-
I looked at that and I'm like, as cool as it would be to have Adam Maitland, you know,
Yeah.
in my handbook, I am not going to fund his legal defense fund.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. And I looked at him. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, there he is. Now I've seen him.
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah.
bye.
Yeah.
So like I said, we walked away completely empty-handed. We almost went and got Randy Quaid because his line was relatively short, and I
Mhm.
really would love to have had it.
Which I was really shocked
Yeah,
that his line was as short as it was. But yeah.
I would have loved to have had him sign something as Ishmael from Kingpin. But I was like, you know what? No. And so we decided, since we didn't get to spend the money on Robert, we put that money aside, and that's going to go to Tara Strong at Huntsville.
Man, that's
So,
legit.
Yeah.
I can't believe
Yeah.
it, man. I bet most people who went and saw Randy Quaid wanted him to do his Independence Day thing.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah. Hello, boys. I'm
We-
back.
We saw a couple of people, you know, dressed as Cousin Eddie.
I would say
There
cousin
Yeah.
Eddie,
too, so,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like when we did the what was it, the Christmas parade in Homewood.
Yeah.
We did the Christmas parade, and then we got around the last little bend, and there was a guy standing there. He was dressed
And-
as him. It was the greatest thing.
Yeah.
Newtown,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So Atlanta Comic-Con, we're not coming back. Not until you get under some new ownership or straighten up
Which is
So
sad.
unfortunate.
your different
'Cause
stories.
I went a couple of years ago and it was a much better experience.
I don't
They
think
were
it
under
was
different owners.
Yeah.
Different
run by
owners.
different people. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the vendor layouts were terrible
Mhm.
because they had, you should be able to walk just rows and go down and look at all the
Yeah.
vendors and stuff. And then the artists, about halfway through the vendors, the artists were there, and they had them set up completely differently where they were blocking the aisles like for several yards.
Yeah.
It was bad layout. So,
Well, there you go.
yeah, that's our gripe with Atlanta Comic Con. won't be investing in that one again. So, but back home in Alabama.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, have you guys heard? And I'm speaking to the listeners.
Hopefully
Did
not
you
on
hear-
Hi guys. Have
if
you
it's on
heard?
AM radio, they haven't heard.
At least for this station.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, Kev. I know you have.
Yeah. I brought this up. I brought this up about a week ago. I'd caught wind. Because I guess I have really weird YouTube surfing habits, and this came up, and it was. I mean, anybody that lives or knows anything about Alabama, we like to poke fun at Walker County, and Jasper and all that area. We got there's plenty of good people that live there, but there's also plenty of not so good people, just like
Walker?
anywhere else. But it just seems to concentrate more in Walker County. Like there's always the jokes about it being the meth capital and all kinds of different things. But we had a really nice story come up. It hit my feed where allegedly, a 200-foot tall AM radio tower from the WJLX station in Jasper disappeared one night. They went out to these, I guess whoever they had charged of keeping the place mowed, went out one day to mow it, and they were like, "Are we in the right place?" They're like, "What do you mean?" It's like, there is no radio tower out here. There's the box, they got
the
the
transmitter
equipment
house.
in, but the tower itself was completely gone, like disappeared. And of course, the whole stolen thing. Anything happens in Walker County, you assume meth heads probably came up with some sort of Ocean's 11 thing out there playing the music, and they're out there with their sawzalls cutting the thing down and then hauling it off for scrap so that they can get a fix. So that there's Jess can probably expand on this a little bit more. There's another Jess and Brock both. There's a group that there's a whole lot more to this than it potentially being stolen. I did want to add one of the before we kind of go into the possibilities, but one of the things that I had read about this particular station is that they are branded as an AM station. They also broadcast at FM, but their base broadcast is in AM. So at the time when it was discovered that their AM station, their AM tower was no longer broadcasting, the SEC came in and said, "Guys, what's up? You can't broadcast. If you don't broadcast in AM, which you're set up to broadcast in, you can't broadcast in FM." So there was a big stink that came up with that. But I know that there are some other folks that have some other theories. If you guys want to chime in on that.
Well, I was alerted to a Facebook group called Alabama News Beacon, and I'm not going to repeat some of the things that have been said in there. But go in there and look, and there's a whole conspiracy theories about who's taken what, and was it stolen or was it taken down and sold off by people associated with the station? And I don't know. It's there's a lot of fun conspiracy theories in there that you have to go look. Yeah.
I mean, I know that strange things happen every day on Earth. I get it, but I just don't see how you steal a 200-foot radio tower.
You don't. It doesn't just disappear automatically.
I mean, there's no David Copperfield involved in this thing. Okay, I'm just saying it just doesn't.
No, it's David Coppershine or Coppersteel.
Coppersteel.
Coppersteel. There we go.
David Catalytic Converter.
I mean, look.
I have, I worked in grocery stores when I was a teenager, and I know people, they'll go to great lengths to steal stuff and where they'll stash it and put it. But I just don't think that you can easily walk away with a 200-foot radio tower without.
This is the equivalent of a 20-story building in height.
See, thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These things just don't get stolen, and nobody sees anything.
Well,
AM radio towers put out a lot. It's a lot of current. So you have to, not only do you steal this, but you have to know how to disconnect it, because that'll light you up. That could kill you.
Well, it's like yeah, AM's powerful because like every so often I'll throw it onto the AM side and I'll pick up like broadcasts from like pretty far off.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like stuff from
It's
like
it's not so much the power because
yeah. So
my
you
my
know more,
first
yeah.
but my first on air speaking job was at just a very low power AM station in South Alabama, and it has more to do with AM's signals bounce off the atmosphere, and
Yeah.
so it bounces between the air or bounce between the atmosphere and the ground. So it
Yeah.
it it can go far.
Yeah.
There's not really a really big limitation on how far it can reach. Because I would drive to work at my old AM station. I would drive to work and be listening to another AM station on our same frequency out of Boston
Yeah.
because our transmitter had to be powered down because of signal priority. I mean, Boston's definitely a lot bigger than Geneva, Alabama, so they get a priority for that frequency. And FM is based. You know, you can drive if you've got 100,000-watt station, which is I believe the max output. You can drive an hour or so, and hear from the tower, and still pick up FM if it's a 100,000-watt station.
Yeah.
It's like 2.4 gigahertz versus 5 gigahertz.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
2.4 would be like AM, and 5 gigahertz would be like FM.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more
Right.
powerful, but it doesn't last as long. It doesn't go as far, but
Yeah.
it's a newer format and all that stuff. So
Yeah, it's just the
Yeah.
radio waves and how they're shaped and bounce off things. So,
So yeah, obviously this has got a lot of attention because it happened in Walker County, and it was like, of course, it was probably some Ocean's 11 meth heads that did it, and they probably broke the thing down. They brought their sawzalls out there, and they broke it down and put it in the back of a truck and went multiple trips. But I'm with Jess. There's a really good chance that didn't happen, and not just that, but could you imagine the junkyard, the scrapyard? Like,
Yeah.
where are you guys
gonna
getting
load that?
pieces of
Yeah.
a radio antenna from?
well, speaking of, somebody had posted up a picture where somebody was selling a radio tower in a Facebook group, and the jokes all came back. But well, there it is. And it was all dismantled and laying on the ground. But like a day or two after that story broke, a school bus was stolen in Jefferson County,
Oh yeah.
and the guy was on some stuff.
Yeah.
And so the joke was, it was this guy, and he
Yeah.
stole the bus because he needed something big enough to haul around the pieces of the tower. So he stole the school bus.
It all comes together, guys. We solved
Yeah.
it.
But no, that guy was caught, and he did not have the radio tower with him. He did have the bus, but not the radio tower.
I will say one of the things that was suspicious, if you looked at the video, when they went out and they actually they actually went on the property and actually videoed some of it, is that one of the things that kind of goes against it potentially being like addicts doing it is they left behind the guide cables to hold it up. Those guide cables are like steel. You could, like, if you got those and just coiled those things up, you could take it to the scrapyard and probably get a ton of money. But they left behind like pieces of the guide cables. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's a mystery of what's happening. You know what's happening with the radio tower, but it's been a fun story to follow because
Oh yeah.
You know.
It definitely is. Fun story. Weird story. And, creating a lot of intrigue and controversy and conspiracy theories. So if you're into that kind of thing, that's
that's the kind of thing you're into.
And what was the group that people needed to check out again, Brock, if they wanted to see more on this?
Alabama News Beacon.
Okay. There's our plug for Alabama News Beacon.
Yeah. So if you want to read the fun conspiracy theories about it, then that's the site you need to check out. So
All right.
anybody who knows us knows how much we love anything that's created and based out of Alabama.
Yes.
And I have just, am I still in
we've
StreamYard?
done
Yeah.
Golden Eagle, syrup, Golden Eagle pecan pies, but we also like another endearing brand name,
Oh
which
yeah.
is Conecuh
Yeah.
sausage.
Look at that. Look at that right there. This is the article you're seeing on the screen, courtesy of WSFA 12 News out of Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
Conecuh sausage is absolutely awesome.
Yes.
If you've
Mhm.
not had it, it's based out of naturally Conecuh County, Alabama. I saw that they were going to build a second plant, and this just makes all of us foodies,
As they should.
yeah, very happy. And they're going to open up a second plant in Andalusia, which is not terribly far from their home base.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, this looks like it's going to be about $60 million and bring 110 jobs. I don't know. Let me go. I'm sorry, I did not prep this very well. I don't know if they're going to have a store like they do at their main Conecuh factory. Probably not.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably just their tourist attraction is actually in Conecuh, so it's
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
I would
make
think they
sense.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah, if you're ever driving down I-65, going through Evergreen, Alabama, you can't miss it. Nice big store, and they got oh
Mhm.
my gosh, just so much sausage.
It
And they
is,
made it where it's good to stop there anyway if you're a EV driver anyway, because they've got a Tesla supercharger there now. So
Nice.
Oh, do
Yes,
they?
They do.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
I noticed it. I noticed it the last time we were down that way.
Mhm.
Oh, nice.
Mhm. Yeah.
Very
It's a good
nice.
stop.
That is whenever we are making our way to the beach, to the Gulf Coast, that is always a stop for Brock and myself to grab some lunch.
100%. We'll be going back down there later this year for a work
Heck
conference.
yeah.
So we always stop for that for sure.
See, I got to
Me-
work that in. We always worry about on the way back stopping at Priester's Pecans. I never think about Conecuh.
We get
Mhm.
Priesters on the way back.
Yeah, because Priester's open on the weekends. I
Mhm.
don't think Conecuh is.
Right.
At least they used not to be. I haven't
Yeah.
looked at their hours, but I know we're usually rolling through there about lunchtime.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
that's always a lunch stop for
You
us.
can stop in Clanton and get you some ice cream on
Yep.
the way back, and get you some peaches. At
What's the good ice cream place in Clanton?
Peach Park.
Peach Park.
Peach Park, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have not stopped there before.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh,
We
dude!
need to fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Maybe-
definitely need to. It's confusing because it's not the it's not the water tower exit. The
No.
exit with the big peach water tower. That's where
Yeah.
all the car dealerships are.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
People are like, "Wow!" I used to live down in that area, and I always wondered why they didn't just build it up right there.
Mhm.
Because you literally have an advertisement sticking up out of the ground right there. Stop where the peaches are. But it's a different exit. It's still a Clanton exit, but I think it's the next exit up. You've got to stop at that one. So you should definitely do it though, Brock. If you've never been to Peach Park, it's very good. They've got some peach ice cream and all kinds of peach related stuff, and yeah, it's a good
I
little
love
stop.
peach ice cream.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
good too.
And it's Chilton County peaches. It always is. So it's good stuff.
Yeah. Very nice. Speaking of ice cream, my son was given a Dairy Queen gift card a couple of years ago, and he keeps forgetting about it. Guess we had a chocolate dipped cone and banana split tonight.
That would be us.
Nice.
I was sitting here on the couch and I said, I want ice cream, but I don't want the ice cream that's in the freezer. He's like, well, what kind of ice cream you want? I said, I'm thinking Dairy Queen. I'm thinking a chocolate dip cone. He was like, might as well give me a banana split.
I want ice cream, but I want someone else to make it for me.
Exactly.
No, something about just I wanted that chocolate dipped cone.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love Dairy Queen.
And
Have that shell on it's beautiful.
Mhm.
Mhm. I've been wanting banana split for a while, and I'm like, okay, look, if you're going to go get your cone, then you got to do this for me. And so we're like, you know what? We've got a gift card that's been sitting over there for 2 years. My son hasn't. He never remembers it. I'm like, you know what? We pay for his food every time he's up here.
There you
anyway.
go.
This
Oh.
is we're going to take control of this.
I'll
It's hard-
reimburse him back some way or another.
It's hard for me to go to Dairy Queen and not get a Blizzard. That's my go-to.
Especially
Yeah.
if they do the thing
Yeah.
where they turn it upside down and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, just fall out. No, it's
Yeah.
it's a blizzard. It's awesome.
You can always win with the Reese's peanut butter or the Heath one. Those are the two that I highly recommend.
Reese's peanut butter is the one I usually go with.
They're coming
Yeah.
out with a Nutter Butter shake, by the way, at
Oh.
Dairy Queen.
No.
Yes, yes.
Oh man.
Oh,
Hi,
the
my
Beatus.
lactose
And I just
intolerant.
started back at the
Beatus.
gym.
The Beatus.
I already got it. So let's just pile it on.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's foodie talk with the Bama Geeks.
See, I totally forgot they were coming out with a nutty
Yeah.
bar.
Nutter,
bu-
yeah.
Nutter butter. Nutter butter.
Nutter butter.
Yes.
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
I'm trying to figure out how we're going to segue into our next portion with this. We're getting into the food stuff.
But anyway, Conecuh sausage.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes, Conecuh sausage.
It is pretty much anything that calls for smoked sausage that I fixed is cooked with Conecuh sausage.
100%. She cooks Conecuh dishes all the time, and I am the recipient. I am happy.
He's never disappointed when I say I'm gonna make the Conecuh thing, and he's like, fantastic. So
I'm never disappointed in anything you make.
you take the Conecuh, and you've got an Instapot. You put your Conecuh, you cut your potatoes up, some little mini ears of corn, and some green beans, and let it cook in the Instant Pot. Yeah,
Nice.
it's one of our most commonly fixed dishes here at the house.
And if you need that, just rewind a few seconds and grab a pen and paper and write it down.
Let me know if you want that recipe.
Yeah. We need to. That's one thing we need to do is start a newsletter and have you do recipes every so often in them that we can share with people.
Oh, okay.
Not only are we going to talk about nerd stuff, we're going to give you some good food recipes.
Well,
That's a good idea.
Nerds are foodies. So
Yes.
yeah. it's its own fandom, right? I mean,
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say, if you're listening and you want to hear more about some really cool recipes Jess has, I have, any of us have, we'll be willing to share them. We'll even try to make them geeky for you.
Yeah.
Sure. I have a Ghostbusters cookbook, which it's like
You can't be ripping off other people's stuff and giving it out.
I've got all the Star Wars cookbooks.
We had talked about at some point maybe me doing some videos fixing some stuff out of the Ghostbusters cookbook, but
I forgot about
man.
that.
yeah,
There's just a good there's a good ecosystem of cooking videos on YouTube. That's like the new cooking channel for me. Like I want to try something on the grill. I'm like, okay, do this.
Yeah.
And then boom.
Right.
Oh, Jess is. I think we were sitting in church this morning. She was watching a TikTok video on some recipe. She had it on mute. She's like, "It looks pretty good." I'm like,
that looks good.
"Pay attention."
I have so many recipes saved. It's like I'll never. I save it. I'll never get to it. But if it looks good, I'll try to save it.
Yeah, and she'll come out with some surprise dishes once in a while. We ought to do. Maybe one day we'll do a Bama Geeks cookbook or something.
Yeah,
I think so. I think that's a good idea.
Well, my mom was very well known in South Alabama for her food and all, and so I've got a bunch of her handwritten recipes and concoctions and stuff that people just adored over the years. I'm still trying to get the time to write up and create a cookbook based off my mom's recipes, and eventually I will.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll sell that through a Bama Geeks website one day.
Maybe so.
Maybe
that is not a bad thing to consider.
You can get your geeks and get your Granny Jones.
Hey, we've all got to eat.
Boy. Yes, ma'am. Oh, well, is there anything else you guys want to talk? We're like 40 minutes into the main episode, which is going to be a record short for us. We did so much of our talking in the Patreon episode that we normally do, but we're trying out a little bit of a format change, like we said at the beginning. So, anything else on your brain that
you're just feeling weird about this whole format change? I got to be honest. It's
I'm very weird about this
It's kind of feeling
right
a little weird to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love this.
Well,
not that you're feeling weird about it, but the format change.
Yeah. So just I guess for my part, to end it on a geeky note, if you want to see how big the box is for Master of the Universe Eternia playset, there she be. It's huge. It's really huge. It's 47 pounds, and I have no place to display it. So this may see a tablecloth on it and just become a shelf, and just know that I paid. I'm not saying how much. You can go look it up.
Yeah.
The Eternia play sets.
It's a big one.
And turn it into a shelf. That's how I'm displaying
Get the
He-Man.
most out of that. Yes.
Yeah, He-Man and Skeletor are holding up my collectibles. Other things that'll sit up here, maybe. I don't know. Oh, that's a big one. Go watch Pixel Dan's video on it. That's
Yeah.
gonna be my recommendation. If you want a good look, if you're a
Yeah.
child of the 80s and love those types of toys and stuff like that, and especially if you love Masters of the Universe and want to see this playset in action, Pixel Dan did a really good job
Mhm.
with that. And comparing it to an original from the 80s, which not a lot of people had. So,
Yeah.
well, if nobody has anything else, we're going to wrap it up with our segment that is popular and we love. It's our Bama Geeks Southern words and phrases and dad jokes. My screen is a lot smaller. I'm having a really hard time trying to make did that make her? That's a,
Yes.
Hi. There I am.
did that work?
Yes.
Well,
I don't-
she's on there by herself.
Yeah, I'm all by myself here.
Hang on. I can't see in this new screen.
It's fine, Brock. It's fine. It's fine.
All right, Jess, we'll go ahead and do
Just
your
It's
You're s-
me. It's all. It's me. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Okay,
not
now-
me.
There you go.
There.
Here he goes.
Sorry.
Flip
New
it,
screen.
switch it around.
new
Here we
toy.
go. All right. So for this episode, which as you can see, the format changed. We're putting this at the end now. That's how we're going to wrap this podcast up. For this episode, I have selected the phrase "quit being ugly."
Look, I
Now,
was born this way. I can't help it.
now, this has nothing to do with physical appearance.
Oh, okay.
But instead a comment about what's inside that person or how they're behaving. It's usually bad. Other variations are he's being ugly or she's being ugly.
My mom told me that a lot.
You're being ugly.
I told her, I said, look, I look like you.
Yeah. You said nothing to do with the physical, but what's inside and how you're behaving. So don't be ugly.
Be nice.
Be
We always strive
nice.
to be kind to everybody.
That's right. Be kind.
All right. Well, thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
And brother Kevin, look at that.
That was it.
man.
Over
That's a-
there. Yeah.
Let's
You
go.
Turbo
did.
switch there.
it.
All right, guys, you ready for an amazing dad joke? By the way, I shared this with our Patreon folks, but I have a whole bunch of pre-done dad jokes, so you don't got to hear me fumble around with them too bad. But I've chosen one that seems to be a really good one. Actually, when I say I chose it, I just literally just pulled a card out of the deck and then just found the joke that I liked, and this is what you're gonna get. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I can't take my dog to the pond anymore because the ducks keep attacking him. I guess that's what I get for buying a purebred dog. I'm not sorry.
That's funny.
Your groans fuel me.
That's good.
Yeah. Dun-dun.
Hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah.
All right. So just one tonight?
Oh, well, I can throw you another one. You guys want another one? Here we go.
You got a lot of cards there.
What do you call the world's greatest dog detective?
I don't know. What do you call him?
Sherlock Bones.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my goodness. You guys, some people have to listen to this all the time. And it's
Mhm.
horrible.
We love them though.
Yes, oh, absolutely.
Very nice.
Sweet deal.
You guys are getting to see in real time me juggle this new thing. I've got a new screen that's a smaller screen I'm actually looking at too, and so I can't see the controls on it very well. And I just remembered I've got a Stream Deck down here with all the buttons pre-programmed, so I could have easily just
Yeah.
done that and didn't because I wasn't paying
It's
attention.
fine.
Yeah.
It'd be all right.
So all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, y'all, we're gonna wrap it up. This is
You're
this
you're
is-
feeling kind of weird about this.
Brock
I'm
is being
telling.
really weird about
I
this.
can tell.
it's I gotta get used to it. I mean, we've done
Change.
73 episodes a certain way, and now we're gonna start changing up some things. And there's gonna be some more changes coming in the future, in the very near future for everybody who's not on Patreon and have not heard the plans. Yeah, it's going to be some things changing. But until then, as always, you can follow us on Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And if you want to go onto Facebook and search for the Bama Geeks Front Porch, that's our online community where we've got a lot of great people in there who just like to chit chat about, not only just Southern things,
Mhm.
but geeky things
Yeah.
and all that goodness.
Interests, hobbies, what's up with you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Bunch of like-minded people there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very much.
Me flexing on a local gas station's food post.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Hey. At Tanny Hill General, man, I'm telling you,
They were flexing. That's why I had to show it. I was like, hey man, if your local convenience store isn't showing off this, then you need to find a better store.
That's right.
Yep, absolutely. And also, if you want the longer episode, which I think this is going to be the first time the Patreon episode was longer than the actual main episode,
Ooh.
you can sign up at patreon.com/BamaGeeks. $5. That'll get you bonus stuff. And that's where we're going to be doing our roundtables and everything from here on out.
A little more exclusivity and conversations and more personal conversations about the Bama Geeks and behind the scenes things. So there's some, there's a little caveat there to the Patreon part of the podcast.
Yep. But we certainly appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Whether it's Patreon, whether it's just on the main episode, it don't matter. We appreciate you no matter what.
We're glad you're
Yes.
here. Yes.
That's right. So episode 75 will be next for Kevin and Bo and Jess. I'm Brock, and we'll see you then.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.